Right, welcome ladies and gents. Ahsoka episode 8 was a thing, the finale is here. Or at least the finale for season 1. So today we're going to discuss the sort of rough recap of the whole episode, because there's some spoilers and Easter eggs there, and then I'll give you my review. So as I said, there's spoilers and Easter eggs here, but we need to discuss it to go into the overall review. So recap time, ladies and gents. Hit subscribe if you are new here. Finale of Ahsoka opens with Morgan Elsbeth discussing with Grand Admiral Thrawn that the transfer of the mysterious Night Sister cargo is complete. They're probably people, let's be honest. He sends Enoch to prepare the Eye of Sion, and dispatches 2 TIE fighters to deal with Ahsoka Tano and her merry band of misfits. Now Morgan Elsbeth jumps in, pretty arrogant, claims that they've beaten the Jedi, but Thrawn is very, very quick to point out that essentially all of the original trilogy and how the Rebellion and Jedi have beaten the Empire before. So probably best not to overlook that. Thrawn thanks the Night Sister Great Mothers. They in turn thank Morgan Elsbeth for coming and offering the gift of shadows. So they're like, hey, well done. Do you want some more dark magic? Morgan pledges to abandon her old life to them, and with fingers glowing green, they brand Morgan's face before summoning a green vortex of magic. The fire dies, revealing the blade of Talzin, which is a callback to Mother Talzin, who led the Night Sisters in the Clone Wars. They give Morgan a blade which glows with emerald flames as the final title card is revealed. Part 8, The Jedi, the Witch and the Warlord, a fun play on for Narnia, basically. So, with the heroes on their ship overseeing the nomadic Noti, basically, Ninja Turtles, Ezra Bridger is trying to build a lightsaber. The droid Professor Hu Yang fusses at him as the lightsaber building can't be rushed. Sabine leans in the doorway and discusses Kanan, who obviously taught Ezra. That was Ezra's master. And that's when Hu Yang realizes and states, oh yeah, I actually taught Kanan. And this is, I can give you this element here now. This is the part of the lightsaber that you need. There was only 2 made, ladies and gents, only 2 made. 1 for Kanan and 1 now for Ezra. Just in case there was another one that needed it. Ezra finishes the lightsaber, lights it up, and it's blue. It's quite cool. It's a nice little nod, nice little scene. I do like the performance from the Ezra actor. Side note in this recap. So after Sabine walks away, Hu Yang gives a brief summary to Ezra about what happened to Sabine, her training with Ahsoka, the loss of the family on Mandalore. And then Sabine walks out, finds Ahsoka, and they finally talk about the Padawan giving Baylan Skoll the star map several episodes ago. Ahsoka's not mad, accepts Sabine's apology. Ahsoka notes she made her own slew of difficult choices and says that Anakin always stood by her. So she's choosing to stand by Sabine and her choices. Just then, Thrawn's TIE fighters show up, disable the ship. Sabine maneuvers, swipes the ties, saves the people down below that are underneath them, the little turtle people, but it damages the ship. Anyway, moving on. Enoch reports to Thrawn. Grand Admiral proceeds with a ground assault. Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine hop on a bunch of the howlers, the wolf dog things, whilst Hu Yang stays behind with the Noti to work on the ship. Morgan now commands a group of volunteer night troopers whom she sends into battle down below in the stronghold, and she tells Thrawn, hey, they're going to fight for you, and he corrects Morgan, no, they're going to fight for the Empire, not for me. The heroes find the Eye of Sion, obviously overlooking the stronghold, and with one last check-in with Hu Yang, who tells the Jedi not to wait for him, they head out, and Thrawn is ready for them with the turbo lasers from the Chimera, raining down on them. Jedi race their howlers towards the front gate, all 3 using the Force to slip inside. They're met by a massive wave of night troopers, which they prominently dispatch, but the Night Sisters raise them from the dead. So interestingly, they were never dead. Now they're dead. So not sure why they were night troopers at that point. Bizarre, but never mind, who cares? They're zombies, very much zombies. They keep getting shot, they keep getting knocked down, they keep getting back up. Anyway, from here, Thrawn requests Morgan buy them more time because they need to escape. And from there, she solemnly accepts in the name of Dathomir. Not the Empire, but Dathomir. Meeting the Jedi, Morgan and Ahsoka have a rematch. It's a big lightsaber duel. Boo, 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 boo. It's alright, not too bad. More on that later. Thrawn takes his position on the Eye of Sion with the Great Mothers. They start taking the ship out. Sabine, pinned down by zombies, strangling her. She reaches out for the lightsaber and uses the Force for the first time. She actually does. She picks it up. Force fields that right the way into her hand, and the lightsaber lights up and pierces the zombie's brain. No worries, mate. However, it's starting to go away. The ship, the Chimera, the Eye of Sion, Ezra, Sabine, they're at the top of the stronghold. Sabine states very, very confidently to Ezra, "You're going to have to jump and I will force push you. You need to trust me. The longer you mess around, the harder this is going to be." So she does, actually, amazingly. Interesting. Suddenly, she has Force adept powers. Not my cup of tea, not going to lie. Sabine opts to not jump across the giant chasm and stays to help Ahsoka fight Morgan Elsbeth and the Night Troopers. Anyway, from there, what happens? Well, they make the jump. Chimera and the Eye of Sion go into outer space. Ahsoka, Sabine, they get picked up by Hu Yang, and they follow the Eye of Sion, obviously in an effort to try and join it. They don't. The Eye of Sion passes over off into the galaxy. They're left behind. Ezra steals a ship, goes to see Hera. So, nice little reunion, quite touching. From here, Shin Hati is left on the planet that Baylan Skoll is still on, more for him later. Sees the bandits that she fought with before igniting her lightsaber, presumably to say, "Hey, I'm here," I guess, maybe. Now, here's the interesting thing. So, Sabine and Ahsoka are back with the Noti. Fine, cool, no worries, little turtle people. Baylan Skoll, interesting. We see him walking across a mountain outcrop. It looks like it anyway, but we pan out. It's not. It's a statue. He's standing on a statue. He's on the outstretched hand of a statue. And who is it? Well, it's the Father, one of the gods of Mortis, who represents balance in the Force. And to the statue's right is a figure of the brother, which is the personification of the dark side. And to the left, it is the statue of the sister, but it doesn't have a head. And the statue of the sister is the sister, gods of Mortis, was a personification of the light side of the Force. Baylan isn't looking at the statues. He's looking at where the outstretched hand is pointing to. And in the distance, on the outstretched hand, far, far in the distance, in the sort of landscape, tree line, skyline, whatever you want to call it, is a little beam of light. And what's it going to be pointing to? Well, it's going to be pointing to Abeloth. So they're bringing Abeloth in. More on that in a minute in my review. Anyway, from there, Sabine joins Ahsoka. They're sort of just discussing bits and pieces. They're where they need to be. Whatever, it's time to move on. And with that, we close with Anakin's Force Ghost looking over them all. Sure, that's the end of this series for now, anyway, season 1, and the end of the episode. What did I think? Overall, this episode was interesting. People are losing their mind because Abeloth is being introduced. Abeloth, for those that don't know, was someone... It's basically the most powerful being in the universe. Not the galaxy, in the universe. And they're bringing it into canon. It's going to create serious issues moving forwards. It's fascinating that they're even bringing the gods of Mortis into play, quite frankly. So and it's sad as well. It's a shame that Ray Stevenson, his final performance, and it's a great performance, it's absolutely brilliant, but they're going to have to recast. I hope to God they don't kill him off screen, because I feel like that would be really disrespectful to Ray Stevenson. They don't have to respect him, of course, but you're going to have to recast and try to continue the story somehow. But you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, essentially, with this. But then bringing Abeloth into it, that's what's been calling to Baylan, is Abeloth. And obviously the gods of Mortis are dead. They've died a long time ago. This incredibly powerful dark side being is there. I was really surprised that that's what they're going to do, and it is clearly what they're going to do. I'm very surprised that they're not going with trying to tie this to the sequel trilogy. Not that I want them to, but it all has to connect somehow. So I'm at a loss for where this is going to go, because between now and then, something has to happen. The rise of the new, the First Order, whatever, has to happen as well. So it doesn't really make it too much sense from that perspective. Balin's still alive. Shin Hati's still alive. Ahsoka's still alive. Everyone's still alive. What's going on? Abeloth. Interesting. The fight sequences were better in this episode. So the fight sequence between Morgan Elsbeth and Ahsoka was better. But this was it's difficult, really, because it's difficult to review this as a singular episode and not the whole season. So I'm kind of doing both. Ahsoka saying, "Don't worry, I'm going to stand by you," was a nice touch to Sabine. But then immediately following that, Sabine does what she thinks is best, which is to save the little turtle people underneath the ship. Crashes the ship, but her behaviour at that point was really odd. It was almost as if that conversation hadn't happened and she was worried what Ahsoka was going to think. There's a lot of bizarre inconsistencies here. Very, very strange, quite frankly. But overall, look, I didn't hate the season. The most appealing aspect to this entire show has been Balin's character and that side story, which is obviously now going to should, you'd imagine, take over into another story, into the next season or the movie. Who knows? But obviously with Ray Stevenson gone, then that's a shame. But he's been the most interesting element. That story's been the most interesting element. And it's sad to see him go. But overall, as a season, it's dipped in quality here, there, and everywhere. It really has. And the most consistent part was Balin. So it's difficult. It really is difficult to review. They've stuck the landing, let's put it that way. The landing, the ending episode, is good. I think it's going to make a lot of people really excited for what's to come. From my perspective, however, this is easily a 5 out of 10 as an entire season, because it has ebbed and flowed in quality massively. And that'll annoy a whole bunch of people, I know. As a final episode, you're probably looking at a 7 or an 8 out of 10. It's a good final episode, but a lot of inconsistencies. I do wonder, and here's my hot prediction, whether Abeloth will take over the body of, say, Morgan Elsbeth. And the interesting thing that I think here is, why did the Night Sisters not go and find Abeloth either? You'd think that they would want to a certain degree, maybe, anyway. But anyway, there's my recap, there's my review. What did you guys think? Let me know down below. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.